To the daily cyber briefing for Monday, the 20th of March. Nearly forgot who I was and what I'm doing for a moment there. There we go. Hope you've all had a good weekend, and hopefully we'll have a safe and secure week. US government agencies have released a joint alert about the Lockbit 3.0 ransomware. So the FBI and the Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency and the Multi-State Information Sharing and Analysis Center have basically released information regarding Lockbit 3.0. Includes indicators of compromise, talks also about tactics, techniques, and procedures. So if you, for whatever reason, believe that you may be potentially a target for Lockbit ransomware, definitely recommend that you check out the information linked from the article that we'll post next to this briefing. Google. Yes, Android. So, end of last week, we spoke briefly about some potential issues that have come to light with Android. I think there were, as I think we said last week, 18 reported bugs in Samsung's Exynos cellular modem firmware, which are exploitable on Android devices. Well, so the patches have been made available in Google's Pixel March security update, but other manufacturers need to plug the holes and need to roll out updates. In the meantime, Google has said you can turn off Wi-Fi calling and turn off voice over LTE to protect against baseline remote code execution. Okay, I think they forgot to add to that one, turn off your phone. I'm not sure that many people will be able. So Wi-Fi calling, if you like I do, live in an area where there's a poor mobile signal, 4G or 3G mobile signal. I rely on Wi-Fi calling just because otherwise the call's too unreliable. Now, somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm absolutely sure, but I thought that voice over LTE was the underlying protocol for 4G, or at least modern 4G mobile signals, mobile calling. In which case, if you turn off Wi-Fi calling and you turn off voice over LTE, I suppose you're still left with 3G or 2G if you live in an area that still has some. Doesn't sound to me very practical. So strongly recommend if you use Android devices, or if you have devices that use any of the chipsets that have been listed in the article that we'll link, including some auto chipsets, so auto T5123 chipsets. So this affects cars as well as mobile phones. Recommend you look for updates, apply the updates as soon as you can. So just a heads up that threat actors are exploiting Adobe's Acrobat Sign to propagate redline info stealing malware. Straightforward phishing attack. Send you a link saying there's a document to sign. You click the link, you take into a capture, you go through the capture, and you're presented with a zip file. You open the zip file, and inside the zip file is, as you would expect, the malware. So if you are not expecting to get a document to sign via Adobe Acrobat Sign, just be cautious if you receive some. One thing that's interesting about this is that the Redline payload have artificially inflated the size of the file to 400 meg. The idea behind that being that a lot of endpoint protection and anti-malware, antivirus software only scans the beginnings of files. They'll scan a certain amount of it because there's a trade-off in real time between how much of a file you scan, looking to see if it's malicious, and the time it takes to do that scan. And so I think for over the years has sort of settled down onto something up to the first X number of megabytes is generally scannable, or is generally scanned. It's all scannable. So Redline avoids detection based around the fact that it is too large to be fully scanned. But basically, the best protection is to think about the emails that you're receiving, think about the requests to open things, whatever it would be. If you're not expecting a document to sign, don't open the links. A little bit of a change of tack for Bayern Lion or Bian Lion or however it's pronounced. The ransomware crew has gone 100% extortion because a free decryptor now exists for their ransomware. So basically, they will now nick your data and threaten to release it. They are no longer bothered about whether they've managed to encrypt it or not. So does that matter to us? Well, possibly. I mean, firstly, it shows that the work that's being done in the background to target these groups and make ransomware less successful. Law enforcement and others who have been working to create decryptors and so on are clearly doing a good job. Doesn't change the fact that they have been in your network. So regardless of whether your systems have been encrypted or not, you really can't trust them once a gang like this has been there. Yes, they've stolen your data. No, you probably don't know all the potential changes that they may have made to your environments, and the effort involved in finding out whether they have left themselves some little time bombs somewhere or backdoors or whatever it may be, it's probably actually as fast to rebuild the systems as it would be to try and check that they're all clean. That's not a good thing to hear on a Monday morning, but you've got to think carefully about this. If you were in their shoes, would you steal the data and walk away, or would you steal the data and walk away, leaving yourself able to get back in again? Yeah, I know which I would do. And then finally from me, there has been yet more research onto ChatGPT's ability to write malware. So a researcher has managed to create polymorphic malware, which they're calling Black Mamba, using ChatGPT. Basically, polymorphic malware is malware which has significant changes in the code for each instance. So the outcome is always the same. The way in which that's coded changes from one instance to another. In this case, the researcher was able to produce a keylogger in Python 3, which was basically undetectable by EDRs. Now, I don't know whether that's all EDRs all the time, because some EDR solutions look at the code and recognize patterns in the code. Some systems look at what the code actually does. A long time ago, there was a solution that Cisco bought up and killed off in a very Cisco sort of way, which was actually very good, although very difficult to deploy at scale, which looked at kernel calls. It basically put a shim into any I/O and any calls to the kernel, and looked to see what is being asked of this device and is that legitimate or not. So there are ways to get around polymorphic malware. It's not the the doomsday scenario for all endpoint protection. It is serious though, and it's definitely something to think about. One of the things that I have always recommended is that collecting information on the endpoints, as in what are the endpoints doing, what processes started, what processes stopped, those sorts of things. combined with what network traffic is there, even down to, if you can do it, collect the PCAPs. So what's the device talking to? What is it saying? And then collect also information from relevant SAS logs. So if you're running, SAS-based endpoint protection, pull in the logs from that. If you're using other SAS services, single sign-ons, whatever it may be. So get a comprehensive view of what's going on across your network. It can be a little hard work to set up, but once it is set up, it gives you the most amazing view into security posture across your estate. And we're always happy to talk to you if you want to know how to do it. That's all from me for today. Hope you have a great Monday and a good beginning to the week, and I will speak to you all again on Tuesday. Thank you. Bye-bye.